Are you religious?
No.
Have you
We're
been?
both raised Catholic. Like I went to Catholic school from when I was 6 years old until I was 16. And then, I went to church every Sunday with my mom. But I think, like, my family wasn't very strict about it, or they weren't practicing it all the time. I think it was more for discipline and good judgment. Like, they wanted me to have a good influence on how to be nice to people, how to act. But, and then my mom wanted me to go to church until I was 18, just to have, I think, a good influence. But, so as soon as I was 18, I stopped going to church, and then shortly after, she stopped going to church. So it kind of was like, well, why were you going? Why were you making me go? But I think it was just more about discipline and kind of having a path to follow.
Was it good? Has it been good?
I think it was good on me for that, like to be nice to people and have a good attitude. But as far as all the like specific teachings and the more the finer details of it, like it didn't really stick with me because I was never really interested. So I kind of went to church, went through the motions of it, but I never like saw a future in that for me. And then as I got older, as I became a teenager, I was, just thinking about it more and seeing the faults in the system and just kind of seeing the hypocrisy of it, and it didn't really make sense to me. I thought the teachings were fine, like to teach people to follow Jesus and to, just all the positive things are good, but not the institution of it.
But do you talk about the lyrics?
Mm-hmm, the two of us. Yeah, a lot when we were making this. A lot more than the other ones. And these were the ones when we had like sheets in the studio and Brendan was reading, and we were all paying really close attention because it was such always the lyrics are the main focal point of all our songs, but especially this one, and especially since they were all tied together. And I was really glad that we would talk about them a lot, because a lot of times, for us and for a lot of bands, a lot of times the lyrics are just all for this, the singer kind of keeps it to themselves. And a lot of times people just aren't that interested, even when they're in the same band. But it was important, especially for this record, for us to really be on the same page.
So did you have to agree?
Well, definitely. I mean, if I were to write something and Kathy she was like, that's fucked up. I can't be behind that.
Yeah.
Definitely that would be a problem. And I mean, I don't know what an example would be of that. I wouldn't really see that happening.
Yeah.
But it's definitely important, when the whole band has to get behind the lyrics, not just the singer. So I think it's important for us to both believe in them.
But is it... Well, I think the album, the lyrics couldn't have been written, let's say, 7 or 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think it's really a reflection on the time you're living in now.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Did you have to, was it an urge you had? You had to do this? Or
it came out kind of accidentally.
Why? How come? Did you do you have an example? Maybe that's why that triggered it for you, or maybe you were walking around with the idea for a few years already. I don't know.
For some reason, I didn't want to make a concept record. I like the idea of a theme that runs through songs. I always wanted to have a record that told a story more than just be like a collection of songs. But it was more just like the first couple songs, the lyrics I had written for the record. I really wasn't, paying strict attention to I don't know, it was less intentional. It was just kind of it that just happened to be on my mind. I wrote "Here's Your Future," and it was the first song, the lyrics I'd written for the record.